Oh, thank you very much. Okay, thank you. Okay. I don't have yet the list of for Tamil sponsorships, but I do know the week is sponsored in memory of Don Mordechai ben Nachum. Listen, just obviously, a trigger warning, just to let everyone know that this is like for me it's a first. It's a very startling first. But one of the boys that was killed last night, his father was my classmate throughout high school. Right. The second they mentioned the name, I said, Antman. Oh my God, no way. I said, no, it can't be, because the kid is 18, 17. It'd be a little bit. Then I started thinking, yeah, I've said it. I got married maybe a little bit older, so. And my oldest is 13 and a half, so yeah, it would make sense that there'd be an 18-year-old boy. So this boy, Elisha Antman, he worked at Chumus Eliyahu. And his father, Rotem, was in my class. He sat right behind me like my whole high school. He was from Kfar Saba, I was from Ranana. We went together in high school, so it's just like, I know everyone says you should feel like this about every single, and it's absolutely true, and that the human condition, has it in a way that when it's like this, you just get, mashu acher legamre. So, Teheni Shmos Etzra B'Tzra Chaim, and we should listen to his voice screaming from the ground, saying, "Wake up, Yidden! Fast, wake up, fast, fast, fast." Okay. So we're in Perek Tet in Achsharat Avrechim, the Piasetzna Rebbe's Chesed and Aleinu, another Kodesh Elyon whose blood is still screaming from the grounds, the grounds of cursed Poland. It's still screaming to us, the Eish Kodesh. So what we began saying last week is that he's giving us new understandings of what the basics of Chassidut are, and the way to go about it. And we've discussed, and it was a difficult shir Monday. It was a really difficult shir. It's okay. And what we got to is that we have to work through our bodies, through our teva. We have to get to know ourselves, what makes us tick on the most human level, in order to then work from bottom up, and then we'll enter the world of kedusha. Feel a shaychus to kedusha. Feel that it's something that has to do with me.
I was like watching myself after this thing that we learned.
Yeah.
And I have to say, I'm like Efes Chassid. I was sitting like eating breakfast. I realized like
that's at least a level. But that's at least
everything, like writing my mezuzahs. I was thinking about, wow, when am I going to finish this early? What a stress, what a punishment. Like everything I did, I realized I'm like Efes. I got depressed from this Torah.
Well, no. So that's the Yetzer Hara.
I was depressed 2 days from this.
That's the Yetzer Hara. There's nothing holy about that.
Yeah.
There's holiness in maybe having hakara. Okay, on the Efes, that's gewalt. But if if it depresses you, it's the Yetzer Hara was able to somehow get inside there. Not holy. Now, it's amazing you say that, because the topic of today's shir is how overrated the Yetzer Hara is, due to a certain misunderstanding of the Yetzer Hara through our chinuch that we received, and through the way we misinterpreted it. And what the Piasetzna Rebbe is going to explain to us, how Chassidus really puts the Yetzer Hara's status in its real place. It's going to be today's going to be a gewalt shir. It's going to be very hard for you.
Yeah.
Look inside on Daf Kuf Aleph, 4 lines from the bottom. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'akol nהיה b'dvaro. Ki be'emet. Lama ze tikshe avodat hachassidut? Why is it so hard being a chassid? Why is it so hard doing this avodah chassid is supposed to do? ולמה זה יקשה לאיש הישראלי לקדש את עצמו? And why is it so hard for a Yid to sanctify himself? Why is it so difficult? Why is it so hard? הלא ישראל הם עם גופם קדושים, כי עם קדוש אתה השם אלוקיך. The Torah said you're holy. So why is it so hard for you to believe what the Torah says? No? Pshat, why is it so hard for you to believe what the Torah said about you? Lama. Hen Yetzer Hara kashe yesh lanu. Okay, yeah, I got a stubborn Yetzer Hara. אבל כמה שקשה הוא וכוחו של יצר הרע רב הוא, as much as you want to say the Yetzer Hara is stubborn and big, לא כמידת גבורתו הרבה, אשר יראה בו האיש, באמת נמצא בו. You've given him way too much credit. Way too much credit.
what about אילולי הקדוש ברוך הוא עוזרו, אינו יכול לו?
והקדוש ברוך הוא עוזר לך, כל הזמן. Just by creating you as a yid. I'm kadosh atam. What more help do you need on that emuna level? The Rebbe is saying, the Yetzer Hara, it's true. He's powerful. But do you have any idea how powerful you are?
So we use the Yetzer Hara as an excuse type of thing?
He's going to develop this. Look what he says. Ure'e nam gam re'e et divrei midrash rabba bereshis. It's a fascinating midrash. Very much, you'll see a similar concept in Likutei Maran. We'll say it in a second. Amar Rabbi Abba, היצר הרע הזה דומה לליסטים שפוף, שהיה יושב בפרשת דרכים. The Yetzer Hara is like a weak bandito, a weak bandit, a weak gangster. Right? He's sitting at a crossroads. וכל מן דעבר הוא אמר, הב מה דעלך. Every person that passes by, the Yetzer Hara comes and says, put your hands up, give me what you have. And everyone was giving them what they have. עבר פיקח אחד, וראה שאין בו תוחלת לגזול לו כלום, והתחיל מקטטו. Then one smart guy said, why is everyone so scared of this guy just because he's saying what he's saying? There's nothing there. And he started hitting him. כך כמה דורות איבד יצר הרע, and the Midrash says that's how for many generations the Yetzer Hara was basically standing there on the street corner telling everyone,
He's going to be bankrupt.
Totally, well, yeah, but looking like the richest guy in the world, right? The one that has more koyach than anything. כיוון שעמד אברהם אבינו וראה בה שאין בו תוחלת, התחיל מקטטו. Avram Avinu is looking at the same thing that's messing and confusing everyone else, and he starts to, mekateto literally means, lekatet means to cut it off, right? But what Avram Avinu was literally looking at it, the face of it, and laughing at it, and minimizing any of its importance. So Rabbi Nachman says like this, it's brought down in Tzichas Haran, I think. He says, the Yetzer Hara is like someone that's walking around all the time with his hand closed and says, wow, you wouldn't believe what's in here, right? But his hand is closed, right? You can't, there's nothing in his, right? You can't see.
The guy's running after him.
And we're all running after him. But he's holding his hand like this. And then the Asid Lava, what's going to be? It's going to be open, there'll be nothing inside it. But this inyan of the speculation of this like mystery creates an oselanu srati. Like today, it's very, my girls say, Abba, ata chai beseret. Okay? אנחנו חיים בסרט. We're living in a movie of כאילו, like there's something so grandiose in here that's so much bigger. And the more we have this mystery about what this is really all about, the more we actually start to believe in it too. That it's that big and it's that powerful. That's how he says really the Yetzer Hara is so overrated. And Avram Avinu was the first one to take a crack at it. Mamash take a crack at it. Now he says here, Dome hu hayetzer hara lelistim shebe'emet chalashu. Really, the Yetzer Hara is like the thief, is like the bandit, is like the gangster that's really, really weak. You see this all the time. When you call out gangsters, when you call out shakranim, and you call them out, you see like a mountain. The mountains did crumble. The mountain crumbles. It's not even, you realize that zaya klum, zaya shum davar. Our bilbul in Am Yisrael is that we have all the Yetzer Haras in the world around us, bandits, gazlanim, shakranim, talking to us about how we should be, and we're buying into it. It's in an amazing way. We buy into it all the time, as an Am, as a people, as leadership. We're buying into this. It's crazy. ובאמת דומה הוא היצר הרע לליסטים שבאמת חלש הוא. וגוזל את כולם רק מפני שהם מפחדים ממנו ודומים שגיבור הוא. He says an amazing thing. He's able to rip us all off only because of fear and because we think the Yetzer Hara is a big gever, is a gibor. אבל הפיקח רואה שלא גיבור הוא, ומקטטו ומשברו. But the smart one, the wise one, calls it out and begins to whack it down and break it down. מקטטו ומשברו. Now the question is like this. Who set this up like this? That this is how we view the Yetzer Hara.
That was the question I was going to ask. If this is truly the case, then why are we taught from a younger age that it's so much greater than what the Piasetzna say? What's the reason?
Who taught you that?
It's just an overall understanding.
Yefeh. Could it be that it's an overall false understanding?
Like it started somewhere.
Yeah, let's try to figure this out. Let's try to figure this out.
And do other people hold this way as well, or is this just a chiddush by the Piasetzna that says that?
First of all, he brought the midrash over.
Right.
This is a midrash from Rabbi Abba way before there was Piasetzna, Ba'al Shem Tov, the Gra, the Maharal, the Rambam, Rashi, midrash. Rabbi Abba. It's great what you're saying. It's very vulnerable to say what you said right now, because you're opening the nachon. Not vulnerable personally. It's a vulnerable statement about chinuch.
Right.
Betach. Huh?
We're in everything we're on.
What?
I'm scared of him. That's how he got strong.
No, but why? But why?
Chaku, you're asking good stuff. Next paragraph. You're asking very good stuff. ואגב, אומרים בנו בזה שהמלמדים ומחנכים המדברים דברי מוסר עם תלמידיהם. In the education system, educators, מלמדים, מחנכים, that speak words of Musar with their students, אם מציירים הם בדבריהם את היצר הרע לגיבור כל כך היום וכוחו כל כך רב ונורא, לא טוב הם עושים בזה. Now, what's the other voice telling us right now? Well, if they don't emphasize how dangerous he is, everyone's just going to do whatever they want. And the Ba'al Shem Tov doesn't believe that. You understand? The world of Musar, at a certain point, thought that since Averas are so detrimental to the soul, which they are, 100%, the way to get someone to become Kadosh and refrain from doing Averas is to scare the living daylights out of them about what happens to them if they do an Avera. And how mighty the Yetzer Hara is. The Ba'al Shem Tov, b'diyuk. See, in a nutshell, what's the chiddush of Ba'al Shem Tov? There's a pasuk, Baravodas Hashem. Sur meira v'aseh tov. Yefem. If I say sur meira and I won't move on to the next part of the pasuk of v'aseh tov until I really, 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 really understand what ra is in sur meira, I'll never get to v'aseh tov. That'll never be the focus. So someone once said, all the Ba'al Shem Tov did was just had put our eyes a little bit more on the focus on the words aseh tov. And that way of relating to Hashem and to the Torah would give us so much more access to beating a Yetzer Hara or to just succeed in life. But when my focus is, like what you said in the beginning of Shir, any sikui. That's never going to work for anybody. Anybody.
So the fear of the Yetzer Hara was created because of fear.
The fear of the Yetzer Hara was created because of fear of what?
Fear of just falling off.
Fear always feeds fear.
Bidiyuk. Who's the Piasetzna is the quintessential mechanech. He is the educator. Even though this book is for, this sefer is called Achsharat Avrechim, but obviously he's Ba'al Chovos Talmidim. He's always educating. You know, he's educating everyone at any given moment. So that's exactly what he's saying over here. It's really like, it sounds like such a chiddush, but when you stop and think about it, it's like, of course. Fear feeds fear. Like, of course it does. Lo tov hem osim baze. Fourth line. Ki kach teva ha'ish. The nature of man is as follows. כשמציירים לפניו איזה איש לגיבור נורא ורב כוח, ידיו מתרשלות וכל גופו מתרופף לוי להתאמץ נגדו. What happens when you illustrate someone, when you draw someone up to be as vicious and as big as the visualization is, it becomes that to you. And then, what does that mean, litrashel?
Give up.
It's like, you negligent. Why even start? Right? Why even start? ואז באמת האיש אשר נגדו מתגבר נגדו. And then whatever is in front of you becomes bigger to you, becomes more powerful to you, and you really, really believe it. Yeah.
It's like when MJ used to get on the court. I'm comparing MJ to the Yetzer Hara, right? But I'm just saying, he used to get on the court, and people were scared of him. It's game over. He won already.
No. You know why? Because he actually was that good. It's actually not the same.
But
he
those
was.
Those people that actually stood up to him were able to play against him.
And he still buried them alive. What are you talking about? He still killed them. No. I hear what you're saying. Afuch. Give me a player that's all talk, that put on the show, that was of intimidation, and then you realize, I'll up you one. There was a self-proclaimed Kobe stopper, Rashi Tevis RP. No, you don't remember who it is because he ended up being nothing. Once people realized he's nothing. Reuben Patterson. Exactly. Mize. But what is it about him? What was it about him? The team, the whole thing, they tried to pump it up.
He was never given that aura of, oh, wow.
And who gave it to the Yetzer Hara?
What?
And who gave that to the Yetzer Hara?
He was given.
Who gave that to the Yetzer Hara?
Whoever it was, the Mechanchim or whatever it was.
But the difference is that for me, this is nachas, that I'm a diehard Laker fan. You're talking about MJ as a Yetzer Hara. This is, you have to understand, you're feeding the, it's beautiful. No, it's like great, but I'm like, I never thought in my life I'd be defending MJ in a shir. He's not the Yetzer Hara, and he's from Chicago. You gotta be careful, he's from Chicago. What I'm saying is, like, if you don't go like this, and he wasn't really that powerful. He was.
Part of his power. Part of what made him as great as he was the fact that he
the intimidation. But that's not the same. And it's important for me to takesh all this. Because over here, the Yetzer Hara is not that. It's not that powerful in comparison to who you are. In comparison to actually who you are, it's not that powerful. By MJ, didn't really matter how good or bad you were. He killed you. I hate to say it. He did. He killed me in 91. 4-1. Killed. I know. לא מפני גבורתו של זה, רק מפני חולשת עצמו. That's why. Saying the Yetzer Hara doesn't kill us because he's so great. He only kills us because we're so weak. Understand the difference? The Rebbe is saying? When you fall, you did fall. But what made you fall? Not because the Yetzer Hara is that strong and tempting, and not tempting, yes, but not that he's really strong. But it's more because, like the Meraglim said, when they came back from looking at Eretz Yisrael, and they came back with this whole illustration of what we're viewed as in their eyes. Chagavim be'enehem, v'chen hayinu be'enehem. Mamash, how do you know? Because you took this, you made it to be that. It's not the lav dafka. Lav dafka. Kalev is a different yid. Kalev says, "Ma kara lachem? Alo na'aleh v'yarashnu ota ki yacholnu chala." He's looking at the equivalent of the Yetzer Hara. He's saying, "I don't buy that. I don't buy that." And if I go down trying, at least I'm going down trying. Nachon? That's a different program.
No, but he says you won't go down trying. You won't go down trying.
Because you won't even try.
Because
You won't even try. Nachon.
The flip side of that too.
Because he's saying once you try the guy, he's not there. He's weak.
Nachon. So you won't go down. Yafeh. You won't even go down.
The flip side is that if he does, knowing what you know now, if he does beat you, what does that make you feel like? He's so weak and he still got it.
No.
Lo abhanti.
Right? Now we know that he's weak.
Yeah.
Right? He's not he's Ruben Patterson,
Right?
right? Ruben Patterson just beat me.
No, he wouldn't. That's what he's saying. He wouldn't beat you. If you knew who you were, he can't beat you. It wouldn't happen.
He's saying now if somebody doesn't.
But it does.
Now
Yeah.
after this, we learned this.
Yeah.
Will I do an Avera again? Like Chas v'Sholom, but everybody falls.
Okay,
right?
okay,
So
yeah.
Then
Right.
so the Yetzer Hara, the sweet guy got me again.
Right, that's my point.
Then it happens. But that's why Shavai Potzadik V'kam, it doesn't have that great of effect on me than it does when I see the Yetzer Hara as the conqueror. Like even if it happens, that doesn't define me as who I really am. Because I'm bigger than that, and I'm human. But that doesn't define my Metzius in this world. The Yetzer Hara has defined people as if you ask them, who are you? Their first thing would be, I'm a sinner. And I try to do a little bit of good. The Ba'al Shem Tov says, do you really think that's why God Asher B'char Banu Mikol Amim? That's the Apitom. Zelo ata. And the Yetzer Hara has a soul. It's us. We've created this scenario of having the Yetzer Hara. Let us dictate to us how we view ourselves, how we look at ourselves, especially after we fall. V'zelo anachnu be'emet. Eli, you're burning to say something?
No, I'm trying to, there's so many different things going in my head.
There's a lot of Mishalim going on over here. A lot. Let's continue. וכשהם מציירים את היצר הרע בכל כך גבורה רבה ואיומה, and when he's saying over here, when the mechanchim are out of fear for us falling, they illustrate the Yetzer Hara as so big, they do it. Your educators did it. אז מתרגל גופם של התלמידים להתרשל ולמאס בפניו עד שבאמת נעשה גיבור עוד יותר מכפי מידת גבורתו שלו באמת. What ends up happening? It worked. The Mechanchim's words became alive. It wasn't alive until they started saying it. What are their... I'm sure this is your chinuch too. Right? 100%. 100%. Yeah, it wasn't mine so much. Not as much.
Was it not a factor at all?
It was a factor, but not as much.
You're very fortunate.
Not as much, I said. I'm just lucky because Rav Shlomo came into my life. I'm 14 and I didn't grow up with it, so I didn't have any natural rebellion to it. I didn't grow up with it. I'm 14, and then whole new world of not resisting it because it was just pure light for me, and I didn't. And then after that, it was Zeloya. I'm lucky. Lucky. 100%. ולבבם לא ידעב אם חס ושלום ייכשלו מפניו, כי יצדקו לאמור, ומה לי לעשות אם היצר הרע כל כך גיבור ורב ממני, ואף כשיגדלו לא יתאמצו להתגבר נגד כל גירוי של תאווה. What's going to end up happening?
I have a very clear image.
Please. Yeah.
Just the teacher talking about Israel, I have a very clear image.
Tell me.
Of just how big and powerful and how hard it is. And
The second grade.
yeah, second grade.
You were 7. How old are you?
35.
What other images about how beautiful your neshama is do you have from those ages? Boom. That's it. That's exactly the nekuda. That is everything in a nutshell. Mamash.
They make the Yetzer Hara to be Paro. Mamash.
Yafeh.
Isn't Paro is like the... Isn't there a Midrash that spoke how Moshe Rabbeinu was so scared to go up to Paro because I think it's not even be the Zohar.
That's why it says Bo El Paro.
Right, come with me.
Bidyuk. Bo, come with me, because I see that there's intimidation here. So again, where did the Mechanchim get this problem of education? Like, it started somewhere, Nachon. It started. I don't know exactly where it started. Right? No. The Midrash is saying this happened. This thousands of years ago. Meaning this is already.
1200.
Rabbi Abba in the Midrash is not in 1200. Rabbi Abba he's talking about the door of before Avram Avinu even is saying like this is what the Yetzer Hara looked like. But again, our question is where did it go into like Yiddish chinuch? By the way, you think it didn't go full on into Chassidus? course it did. That's why he's writing this, because he says that people forgot what the Ba'al Shem Tov's purpose was. You don't think that this is how they go? You think only in non-Chassidish Cheders it's like this? Not pitom. It's everywhere.
It's also not so weak, because with the Indian Shemata breed, like teenagers, 95%, 99% of people follow the breed. So it's not so weak.
In comparison to being in touch with your Shoresh Neshama of who you are, he is. He is.
How many teenagers are in touch with their Shoresh Neshama at that age?
How many adults are in touch with their Shoresh
No,
Neshama?
he's using the example.
Nachon, 100%. Yeah, chinam. Yeah, legamre. Yeah, Eli.
I think, go back to the earliest Midrash, and we were learning about the Nachash.
Yeah.
Right? The Nachash was a man who walked on two legs. He was that, and in that story, so he was crushed. But for most people, the image of a snake is terrifying.
100%.
It's still terrifying.
100%.
Okay, he's on the ground, but he can strike. So the whole, it goes back very early.
So it makes it seem that Hashem Yisbarach knew that this would be probably the greatest nisayon for us to go through, and he placed the Nachash in Gan Eden. Who decided it should be a Nachash? Who decided there should even be anything there? It wasn't a result of our Averas that there's a Nachash there. It happened before Adam and Chava ate from the Eitz Hadas. So it seems like this Nikuda we're speaking about is one of the biggest tikkunim for us to go through, to actually believe that I am so much more powerful than the Yetzer Hara. Infinitely more powerful than the Yetzer Hara. The only problem is, right now, the fact that I chose to come to Shul, daven with the minyan, and now sit and learn Torah, Dibuk Chaverim, says less about me as defining myself than when I fall with an Avera. When I fall with an Avera, I identify myself, that has more of an effect on me than all this good that we're doing right now. And that's the greatest Yetzer Hara right now.
That thought.
100%. Not in actuality. Not in emes la'amito. What it's doing in my own head, the effect of falling in any Avera has much more of effect on me than the effect that that what we're doing right now has on me.
This is deemed as norm, and that's deemed as not.
That's a problem. Yeah. That's a very big issue. That's what we're discussing right now. The Yetzer Hara is overrated. Pashut. And who overrates the Yetzer Hara? Due to the way it was given to us.
Right? David Melech used to get up and used to convince the Yetzer Hara he would say, okay, I'm going to go to the Beit Nashim and take it and go to the Beit Midrash. So it's not. David Melech had to use that life hack.
Do what? What do you do?
No, it says about David Malcolm Mashiach. He says, I woke up every morning and Raglai Hashiva, what's the pasuk? Bechukosai, the Mishbitzer quotes that midrash about, I see every morning I thought I was going to go somewhere, and I told the Yetzer Hara, okay, I'm going to go with you there, but my legs brought me to the Beit Midrash. We're not saying it doesn't exist. We're just saying we're giving it way too much kavod and power. Way too much. But the problem is, what he's saying over here is, like, at a certain point, I'm going to say, why even bother trying? If it's that powerful, and it's going to keep on depressing me, why should I even try to beat it? And that's what all people get to in their lives. They're like, I'm not even trying. Why should I even try? If it's as big as it was explained to me, why am I setting myself up for disappointment and failure every day?
It says in the Rambam, the Yetzer Hara, the tzaddikim see it as like a tiny...
Here, nidme lahem kehar, and then in the Olam Haba, they see it as like a...
The Rishayim, they really do see it as a...
Because they made that into it.
Or the opposite,
No.
I'm saying the opposite.
It says, dome lahem, what's the lashon? Dome lahem kehar.
No, the tzaddikim, they see how huge it was that they passed it. And
Right.
the Rishayim see it as a tiny thing, they have charata.
But then it's a fuch.
Yeah.
Nachon. But I think that it's important for us to realize we make it much bigger than it is due to, let's not go into victim consciousness. It's just due to the way we're wired right now. And the Ba'al Shem Tov wanted to rewire us. He really did.
I think he's looking for a certain emotional maturity.
Of course.
We warn kids about certain dangers, which become less dangerous as you get older. But if you're a kid, you really don't want your kid to hurt themselves.
Of course.
So you scare the daylights out of them.
Right.
And
Right.
then they walk around with that baggage, right? For
Right.
a long, long time, and until you
Right.
can take the poison out and say, listen, I know what I told you, but now
Yeah.
you're older and you got your head on straight.
Nachon.
And, okay, so back off a little.
Parents have weird tactics. I had a friend of mine that his parents caught him smoking in high school, and they wanted to, obviously, like, never do it again. So the father bought him a pack of Marlboro Reds, right?
Unfiltered.
Huh? And he said, okay, you have 2 hours, you're sitting in this room, you have to finish the pack.
That works.
Yeah.
better than my parents did it.
They did it to you? Did you do it?
I couldn't get through it. And that was it. That was done. I didn't smoke again until I was 18. And then I stopped when I realized that I was winded when I was trying to outrun some people. I stopped again. And that was it. The end.
Okay, let's finish this paragraph. Nasena, you see where it says Nasena? It's like six lines from the bottom. Nasena, try, Bachur v'avrech. Do you see it inside, Chevra? Nasena, Bachur v'avrech, lirkoa beraglecha achat al haaretz, בשעה שיצרך מגרה אותך לאיזה נמיכיות. So try to ground yourself, even with 1 foot on the ground, holding yourself down. Ligzor,
What's the nemuchiyut, like a low thing?
yeah, like a low nemuchiyut, meaning that you feel at the moment it catches you at a state of feeling low and small. Okay. Veligzor omer ken ani omer rak haTorah easeh velo keitzri. Say that, like say that that's what you're going to do the next time, right? Just say like, let's see what's going on, and you say this. Gozer latzmecha, I'm just going to do like the Torah and not like my Yetzer is telling me to do. ואז תיווכח, כי הרבה מגבורת היצר הרע רק דמויה ורמייה. And you know what's going to happen to you? Then, like Rabbi Nachman says with the hand, it's going to open its hand. At that moment, you're going to see there was nothing there. Meaning, it's not as strong as you think it is. The only question is, how much are you going to allow yourself live in that moment and be aware of how powerful you really are? What stops you from thinking how powerful you are the moment you beat the Yetzer Hara? Everyone here beat the Yetzer Hara for sure at least once today. How? Everyone got out of bed. The Yetzer Hara is to sleep. No?
I was like, I'm not coming today to shul. Forget the shear. I'm too depressed.
Yeah.
I said, no, I'm gonna go. I was like, I'm gonna stay home with
No,
Like,
no.
I'm not coming.
But
Forget it.
Yafeh. But what are you supposed to do right now? You're supposed to say, I did it. I did do it. And then the Yetzer Hara comes and says, don't think too high of yourself, right? It's right there. It's right there. And the Rebbe is saying, just realize how powerful you've made it. Out of chasha. And I think it's holy. I think it's a holy voice because it's going to save me from gaiva. Our wives save us from gaiva all the time. You know what I mean? We have Ezer Ken Baruch Hashem, Ezer Kenegdos going on. That's not what I need. I have to believe that I'm a Yid. I have to believe in order to give over to my children Ahavat Hashem. I have to show them what it's like to recognize my own greatness. My own greatness. Hashem's greatness in me. Like he says, V'az tivakach, you'll see. Ki harbe migvurat hayetzer rak dmuya uremiya. You'll see it was fraud. ורק מהתרשלות ורפיית עצמך היא ולא באמת. And really, it's all of its kiyum is only due to negligence and weakness that you have in you, כדברי המדרש הנ"ל. It's gorgeous. It's so beautiful. It's like, you know, there was like one time that we actually believed this as an Am. Ever. When do you think it was?
Har Sinai.
Yeah. Because what is the Yetzer? If I really let the Yetzer Hara do to me then what it does to us every single day, what would we have told Hashem when He wanted to give us the Torah?
No, thank you.
Not Nishma v'nasa, not Nasa v'nishma. Lo v'lo. Lo toda. Lo. What? In the name of Emes. In the name of truth. What's the name of truth? Truth is, it's too big for me. And yet we didn't. We didn't. I think some of us would have rathered if they would have said, it's too much. It's too, like I have a friend, he tells me he always asks me all the time, just tells you like what kind of state he's in. He's like, if you were a guy, would you actually convert? Would you really convert? He always says this. I don't know what it is. Did he ever ask you this? Yeah. All the time. He always asks me this. There's no way he always says this, there's no way I'd convert. Now, why is he saying that? Because he went to he went to the same places you went to. And the Yetzer, and the Zel Umat Zed, what happens to me when I let that Yetzer Hara be as big as possible, it's not worth it. And we have a tzaddik, the Piasetzna Rebbe. Remember what he said on his 40th birthday? The only thing he wishes, he wants for himself, he can't give himself. He says, to learn, I know how to learn. To daven, I think I know how to daven. To do good deeds, I know how to do good deeds. The one thing I can't do is I can't convert because I'm born a Yid.
Wow.
It's only someone that understands the greatness of the Yiddish and Neshama and how beautiful and how powerful it is would choose to convert into a world where the din v'cheshbon is so much more intense. It's like Rus HaMoaviyak, Asher Telchi Elech, Asher Talini Alin Amech Ami Ve'Elokayich Elokai. She's also Ruth, David Malka Mashiach. That line says Mashiach's Gevura is, the other side has Be'emet, in the big picture has nothing on me. Listen, should anyone have felt worse about himself than David HaMelech? What, Azriel, you tell me. About himself.
Why? Because of the chet of...
About stuff he did. Should anyone feel more bad about themselves than David HaMelech?
He felt bad.
To the level of what he says over here? What he says over here, hitrashlut, rifyon, gama. No. So this is like the Ba'al Shem Tov's, the Piasetzna, I think, okay, part of what I want to do one day is to take all his Torahs and really actually find it in Sifrei Ba'al Shem Tov, because I feel like that would be very helpful. The problem is we don't have Sifrei Ba'al Shem Tov. We don't have anything from the Ba'al Shem Tov himself. We just have what his Talmidim wrote down. But even like Tzitutim from the Ba'al Shem Tov. So, but one of the things I think that's important over here, he's saying over here, okay, we're going to start again from bottom down, right, bottom up. So we're starting from scratch again. What does it even mean to be a chassid, and why is it so hard to be a chassid? Why is it so hard to do avodas Hashem? What's the first level of why it's so hard to do avodas Hashem? Based on this, why is it so hard?
First of all, you don't know how kadosh you already are, and you make the little Yetzer Hara the king.
Step one.
You're already finished.
Step one, without trying to lenapetz ta ashlaya azot, with popping a balloon in this illusion, you're not. It's not going to go so good for you. It's not going to lekadesh et atzmecha mutar lach. All the good things that are waiting for us, it's not going to be that easy for you. This is ground zero of the binyan that we're hoping to just reconstruct and build. Okay, we'll stop here. We'll continue B'ezrat Hashem on Monday and Yom Sheni.
This needs to be like